Friends, today I want to tell you a story that is real, a story that will make you smile, and a story that teaches every single one of us a very important lesson. This is the story of a lake cabin, an overzealous HOA officer, and one extraordinary moment when a single mistake flipped the entire situation upside down. I had bought a small lake cabin with my hard-earned money, far from the noise of the city, right by the water, a peaceful little escape. But in our neighborhood's HOA, which stands for Homeowners Association, there was a woman. Let's call her Karen. Karen was absolutely convinced that she was the owner, the law, the court, and perhaps even the highest authority of the entire community. She walked around with her clipboard at all times, keeping a sharp eye on every window, every garden, every parked car. She had her eye on me because I had put up a small wooden sign outside my cabin that read, "Welcome to our happy place." According to Karen, this sign was a direct violation of HOA Rule 14, Section B, Subclause 3. First came a letter, then a formal notice, then a threat of a fine. I thought, fine, let's have a conversation. I responded to her politely, with reason and logic. But Karen was not interested in reason. She was interested in power. Then, one day, completely without warning, she showed up at the door of my cabin. No notice, no appointment, no permission. She knocked hard on the door, then again, then a third time, and the door opened. But it wasn't me who opened it. The door was opened by my guest, someone who happened to be visiting me that day. And who was that guest? The state attorney, a senior representative of the law, and an old friend of mine. Karen's eyes went wide. She raised her clipboard and launched right in. Do you know your friend has violated HOA regulations? That sign is illegal. I can fine him. I can take this all the way to court. The attorney smiled calmly and said, Really? Then perhaps you also aware that entering someone's private property without prior notice and without permission is itself a legal violation. Karen's mouth fell open. The attorney then, very politely but very clearly, laid out the facts. First, while HOA does have the authority to issue fines, there is a proper legal process required to do so. A fine issued without adequate notice and a proper hearing can be legally challenged. Second, showing up on someone's private property without permission is trespassing, regardless of whether you are an HOA officer or anyone else. Third, HOA rules are only as valid as they are consistent with state law. They do not stand above the law. Karen slowly lowered her clipboard. She had arrived like a storm. She left in silence. Friends, this story is not just an entertaining incident. It carries lessons for every one of us. Know your rights. Whether it's an HOA, a landlord, or any institution, they can only intimidate you because you do not know what you are entitled to. Knowledge is your greatest shield. The misuse of power always comes back around. Karen had bullied people for years, but the moment she stood in front of someone who was informed and prepared, all of her so-called authority crumbled instantly. And finally, professionalism and composure always win. The attorney never raised his voice, never argued. He simply placed the facts on the table. That is what true professionalism looks like. Friends, life brings many Karens our way, some in HOAs, some in offices, some right next door. They make noise, they wave their clipboards, they throw out threats. But remember this, when you have knowledge on your side, the law on your side, and peace in your heart, no Karen can barge into your cabin and get away with it. And sometimes, just sometimes, fate arranges for a state attorney to be the one who opens the door. Thank you.